So I guess I'll start by saying that this is part of ServiceNow. It's not too important to know that, but I guess I bring it up to just point out that you may have used this before if you've ever contacted IT. So like, for example, IT support, this is kind of a similar thing you may have used. This is how DIT does things. So if you ever use this to search for an article or, you know, contact any of these groups, like you used a similar platform. All right. So to get here, I'm actually going to share a link, especially for today, but the actual URL is just support.umd.edu. That's how you would actually use this thing in reality. But today, just in case we actually want to play around with some things, we're going to use what's called dev.
Yeah, and one more thing, Ryan, I know usually we send our travel link like SPP Tech Support. They can use that. That's the easiest way they can get
Oh,
it.
cool. Yeah, that's good. You guys have
So
that.
like spptech.umd.edu, and that's what they have.
Yeah, and I'll show you guys where that goes. I think I know.
Yes.
So, yeah. So basically, what Samuel's saying is that is a dedicated link that will take you right to SPP's like hub in this portal. If you just type in, support.umd, it's gonna take you to this general landing page. So you could contact UHR from here. You could, any of these groups essentially, you can see what they have to offer in terms of like support documentation, or you can get in contact with each of those groups. But a lot of groups like you guys kind of created their own URLs so that it kind of skips this. So if you want to send your you guys, if they want to send you straight to them, it's nice to have a catchy link. So here's the general support link, and we're going to use what's called dev. And that basically means that by throwing that little, you can see the little DEV, that just means that we can't mess anything up for people actually doing work. So you can come in here in dev and just try things out, see how things work, and you really can't damage anything, anybody's work. So if you are looking to just kind of play around and pull some levers, this is a way to do it without messing anything up for anybody. You can also see like the browser has like a little icon, little like purple background, letter D, kind of lets you know you're in a safe sandbox environment to test some things out. So in chat, I did drop the link to the dev version. So if you do want to do that. And at the end of this, if you guys would do it, I'll have you guys make some cases and you can try some of this stuff out. All right. So this is it's actually just changed. We were calling it was called the Employee Service Center. That's what the ESC stands for. But I think the goal one day is to have, not have a separate world for DIT and kind of everyone live here. So I think we're going to call it the support center, so like the UMD support center. So if you see something that says like ESC or Employee Service Center, it also just refers to this. So I guess the first thing to note, there we go, is you can search. So what you would do here, if you search something, this is going to search not only SPP, but it's going to search pretty much any of these participating groups. Documentation will come up here. So this could be good if you're just looking for general help, and articles will show up. You'll also get forms if anything comes up of your search. There's some pretty basic filters. So this is like a global, let me go back. So this is a global search. This will just search everything. Now, if you go to the link that Samuel pointed out, it would essentially take you straight to here. So each of these groups has essentially a hub. So if I search in this area, I'm only going to get things related to this group. And in the future, hopefully we'll have some documentation here. Once we start making cases, we'll have some fuel to actually make some support articles and things like that. And the goal of these articles would be to potentially help you guys out and not have to have you make cases. Like ideally, there'd be documentation here to answer your questions, which is good for everybody. So let me just maybe give you maybe let's look at UHR just so you can get an idea of like what this could look like. So you see they have a bunch of articles here. You can post announcements, so you might see special like things here. There's topics. So as things, develop, there'll be all kinds of extra things here that'll be helpful. So let's go back. As far as making a case, like, well, actually, let's talk a little bit about search first. So if I wanted to search through articles related to this group, I could do it here. It's only going to show their stuff. So it's a little bit more unit specific. And here, there's also some quick links, which almost every group has a link to the request form. So this is where you would get help. This is where you would make your case to SPP IT. You could also do it from here. Each group has like a little kind of quick links to open cases with them. If you ever had to make a case and you just weren't sure who to send it to, you could always just do the general contact us form, which will go to DIT, and they'll sort of figure out who it needs to go to. So you don't always have to know exactly where things need to go. There's a bit of a safety net. Any questions so far? Okay. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, no, I think that's pretty much it. There's articles, and then there's request forms. And then we'll talk a little bit about making a case, and then we'll look at how that process works. So let's say I know I need to make a case with SPP IT. Like here, I know I need their help. So I can access this form. And it's pretty short. There's really only one mandatory field. So it's pretty easy on the customer side of things. And as like anyone have like what do you guys need help with, or anyone give me an example of like what's like a potential realistic case?
I have one, but I don't know if it's IT.
It doesn't matter for right now, just
Sure. So my office phone has been acting up. Kathy and I had to reset it. Basically, I'll get calls, but no caller ID will show up on my screen. And recently it said, when I pick up the phone, it just says verify your network connection. And yeah, so for some reason, I don't know if because my office phone was connected to the Ethernet, or if there was,
yeah.
I don't know. Is that an IT?
Yeah, it does sound like it could be more of a DIT thing, but it's okay. I was just curious about like an example. And this is something that, I mean, you could still submit it this way and probably get a resolution. I mean, hopefully, if it was something that would be a responsibility of DIT, whoever ends up seeing this case on the SPP side will know what to do. So,
Yep, exactly.
like, yeah, like customer, you really can't go wrong. Like if you totally botch it, like it'll get to the person it needs to get to. Like all the agents are pretty well trained on, oh, this isn't really for me, but I think I know who it is, and it'll get to the right person. So yeah, even this case is fine. I guess one thing before I go with this as an example, usually this list will populate. I guess because maybe we don't have a lot of articles in here. It usually will bring up a list of articles. Let me just show you real quick. I can always come back here. UHR should have some stuff. So what's one of their things? Overload is a thing. Usually this will try to solve my case. It's not really doing that right now, of course. Like it usually will bring up a list of articles. Let me go over to prod and see if it's functioning better there. I won't actually make the case, but yeah, usually you start typing something and it'll throw a few articles your way. If not, I'll have to like figure out why there we go. So it'll bring up a search, and then this is a good incentive for these groups to have articles, because you might see something like, oh, there's already a thing on that. I don't actually need to make this case, and you can click that, and then you know, if that works for you, then great. I think there's even a way to tell it like, oh, this, yeah, you can even mark the article as solving the issue. So hopefully, you know, you'll be able to find articles that way, and you won't actually have to submit a case in every situation. So you can just hopefully find an article, it solves your issue. If not, you can continue right along and just ignore it and make your case. So just keep an eye out for that. You know, you might see some articles pop up there. So I'll go back to make a case here. Pop that example in there. You can give more details. You don't have to. You could add any other people in the directory that may need to know about this. I'll just like put one of my colleagues in there. That's an example. Okay, well, that didn't work. Anyway, but you can add people. Who else should be doing? I guess, yeah, should have worked. You can also add attachments, pretty standard stuff. I don't think I'm going to worry about that right now. And then you submit the case. And this will go to the group SPP IT, who will then be able to work the case and go from there. I don't think we're really here to talk too much about that, right? Because you guys, most of you are not actual agents, or maybe I don't know exactly, I guess, the context, but right, is that true? We're like kind of stopping it at the front end today, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we can, I mean, maybe you can put a little glimpse into you know, the age, I mean, our side, just to see what it looks like when the case comes in.
Yeah, okay.
Just to show, like, so actually when we get this, once you put this in there, we get a notification. And then so we go in and then we see your case. So yeah, this is how it looks like.
Yeah, so if I'm an agent, part of the SPP IT team, I'm, you know, 70. That's a lot. That's, I think you guys have a lot of just like, you know, fluff in here. This is in dev also, so this is,
Yeah.
but you know, so yeah, I'm an agent, and this you'd probably be pretty low.
Yeah,
It
low.
could be 0, you know, and then as one, if I see anything here, like I'm an agent, I see something that needs assignment, I can go to it, and I can make sure that I'm, as an agent, these are the work for my group that an agent is not actually working. So I would then, you know, just grab this case. And I can search. You can, you know, search these things. I should have a few in here just by from playing around. Didn't show up. It's probably better to use case number. Either way, though, this case will show up in this filter, and agents will get to it. And all their responses to you, and this is what I'll show you next, all their responses will go in that support. So that support portal. So here's that case I just made. I'm an agent now, and I can then open this thing up and start working it. And if I had to, I could pass it along to another group pretty easily. So if this, oh, like this is actually for, you know, DIT, I could pass it along to the DITs, or, you know, one of the DIT groups. Wouldn't be them, but. So the next thing to talk about, so you've made a case, and now you are just, you know, so you've made it, here's what you would see as a customer. As agent interactions happen, it'll just populate this one page for however long the case lasts. The way you get to these is they fall under my requests. I'm pretty sure that's what it calls it in production. I wish they would just call them cases. Yeah, so they're called requests. Requests and cases are pretty much the same thing. So here's like a case that I've had going on for 3 months, right? So if I have a case going on for 3 months, that's going to be kind of difficult for me, even as a customer, to track over email. It's going to be like a dozen, you know, it could be multiple threads scattered over the course of 3 months. It's going to be hard to track. If I'm using the portal, the support portal or the support center, all of this stuff is here. So all of the interactions that have happened over the past 3 months are here. So I don't have to scour my emails for these updates. I can just track them here. Attachments, everything will be here. So it's a big benefit to customers and agents. It's the same on the agent side. If multiple agents have to work a case, like I think in this case, in this example, it's all same for them on their end. So it just keeps everything tidy and together. anything that happens. So there's no, you know, an agent's not going to have to ask you the same questions, because that's like probably the biggest frustration when you're trying to get support. You get asked the same question like 6 times and it's maddening. This will prevent that. An agent can kind of just look at what happened and they don't need to ask you again or ask their coworkers. And that's pretty much it. And you can, and customers can interact from here too. So you can just, you know, if this is in dev, so oh no, it's not in dev. So I shouldn't respond here. But if I did, I could communicate through this as well. So I don't even need to touch my email as a customer. It's all here. I can interact from here, and it can all be contained in this space. And like I said, I got here from just clicking my requests. There we go. And all of my cases that I've made as a customer are here. Any questions so far about, you know, making a case, or then after that tracking your case using my requests? No, not at the moment. Okay.
I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
When we submit a ticket to get updates, do we have to go through this portal, or will it send the ticket to our email as well?
Yeah, you will get an email notification. So yeah, you could track it through email or through the portal. And if someone isn't a UMD customer, they actually don't get the portal. Right now, this is something that requires you to be logged into as a UMD, you know, institution member. So, you know, so agents can, so if you weren't part of this, you know, the campus community, you would not be able to see this. But yeah, you can do whatever. You could ignore this, use your emails, or you can vice versa, or use them both. Customers really have complete control over how they communicate with agents, whereas agents are more encouraged, or depending on the level of enforcement, they may have to strictly use ServiceNow to communicate with you guys. But as a customer, you can, it's up to you. It's your preference. I mean, yeah, I know I prefer the portal. It's like I said, if you have I mean, if it's like a simple case where it's like maybe, you know, 1 or 2 back and forths, yeah, email is just fine. But with these long things, these long situations that go on for like a week or more, or even months, like in some of my stuff, it's like impossible to track it through email. Or not impossible, it's just, you know, more trouble than it's worth. I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth showing you guys before I have you maybe give it a shot. You do have a profile. You can do some things here. You can set like notifications and things, I believe. So there's not a lot you can do here, but maybe worth a check.
Ryan, if we wanted to bookmark this site on our, you know, page, like on our computer, what's the website again? Do you mind putting it in the chat?
Yeah. So this would be like the main one that'll let you get to any group. So that's one. I'll put that in chat. So for today, you know, use the first one I shared, the dev one, if you guys want to try it, but it's just support.umd.edu. You don't even need the ESC on the back of it. So it would still take you here.
Just to clarify, now this is just the dev side if you want to practice and see it. So there are 2 ways. So if it's product actual production where you actually reporting, like we said earlier, it's always SPP. Sorry, SPP Tech.umd.edu.
Yeah,
actual stuff. Just but I see understand that he's saying it's just the dev side if you want to practice and go through it.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. What was your, I'm sorry, Samuel, what was it one more time? I want to put it in chat as well.
Oh, yeah, you can put it in chat. Yeah, SPP Tech.umd.edu. You'll see the same interface.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can just type that in, Ryan, let them see, or whoever, when we go to testing, when one of the users try, they'll see it and they'll see what the interface will look like.
So just to clear up, we have 3 links essentially we're talking about today. We have the dev link to this, which is you'll see the little DEV. This is what you do if you want to just submit cases and play around with it and just, you know, totally without worrying about interacting with live actual business. So that's the first, in this case, that's the dev link, right? dev-support.umd.edu. So your actual thing you're going to want to bookmark is either it sounds like it's going to be the spptech.umd.edu, and that is going to take you, let me show you. That'll take you that'll skip essentially this homepage. So you won't go here if you put that in. It's going to take you straight to the SPP hub. Right? Because if they know that this is where you're trying to go, it's easier for agents to send you here. And so like HR, they have askhr.umd.edu for their, that they publish. So there's 3 links. And the only one I shared is that's in dev. I tried to mark it. And you'll know you're in dev by the little, little icon, with the purple background. You'll see letter D, and then also just look for the DEV, because you don't want to make cases like in production, and it can be confusing. So just make sure you're in dev. And with that being said, I really encourage you guys to give this a shot. I mean, it takes a few seconds. All you have to do oops, I'm not here, is you can go to, I'll give you the link again just to make it easy. We'll go to the SPP, not that one. Let me give you guys the dev link. I'll give you that because I don't want. It's just this, but with dev dash. That should do it. Check that. Oh, it didn't work. Give me 1 second. So for now, I would just stick to the dev link that the last one I shared has the dev in it. Go there, and then from there, you would click academics, and then all you have to do is click open a case with SPPIT. In production, you would just use the link that Samuel gave you. But for practice, we'll just go here, academics, open a case, and then just make up something. If you can just, I don't know, it doesn't even have to be accurate, just something to kind of put in here.
This just says I don't have any internet connection, no internet connection.
I saw some of your guys' tickets, like, like I have a Zoom
There you go. Yeah.
webinar, and I don't know, something's broken. I don't know, can't connect, or who knows what. Something like that. Some to try to be realistic, and then you can put more details to help the agents. Like what exactly was going on. Kind of like what Beatrice was saying, like, well, I'm doing this, and then I'm seeing this error. Like if you're seeing a particular error messages and things like that, any of those kind of details that you can add, are really useful. Seeing a particular error, the scenario, I'm doing X and, Y is happening, whatever you can do to help. And you can add any coworkers here. Now, this is for non-UMD addresses, actually. So you probably won't be using that. And this is where you would put people from the directory. So if I, for some reason, wanted to add this person, I could. And they'll also get notifications about this case. So maybe you might want to add a supervisor or something. I know sometimes they like to know what's going on with this kind of stuff. So you could add like people who may have an interest in this case. And then you can add an attachment if you want. Nothing special there, pretty typical. And then just click submit, and then you'll have made a case. So if anyone actually makes one, which I encourage you to do, just make sure you're in dev, let me know, and I'll kind of take a peek at it and see if we're seeing them on the agent side of things. We can refresh this and see. But if you have any questions, let me know. Give it a shot if you have time and want to.
I have a question, Ryan.
Yeah.
Suppose you submitted a case and you have additional information after you've submitted it. Do you have to create another case to add to that case?
No, no. So the only time, so yeah, like if we have this, right, this random thing, if I'm like, oh, I forgot, like this also happened or whatever it is, you can just add to it. You can totally just spam the agent as you keep remembering things. So you can keep adding to this case. So they'll get emails. This stuff will show up in their dashboard or in the case itself. So, yeah, so that, yeah, you can keep communicating as you remember things.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, yeah, this thing is very alive and very dynamic. So you can pretty much keep updating it until it's closed. The only time we'd have to make a new case is if everything's all the solutions have been made, you've accepted as a customer. I guess that might be a good thing to kind of go into. So when an agent believes they've solved your case, they'll propose a solution to you, and you'll get the chance to either accept it or reject it. And I can actually show you what that looks like. Let me give you an idea of what that email looks like. Let me drag this over, and I can get this document might be a little much for the topic we're looking at, but this is more agent training. But you can see this is the email you would get as a customer, and you can you see that there's like an accept option. You click this link. If you reject the solution, then you just click this link. And if you accept it, I think once the case is closed, after a certain amount of time, you would have to make a new case. But at that point, you probably have moved on anyway. But yeah, that's a good question. Any other questions like that? Like just anything along the lines of this process? If anyone wants to try it, we can kind of go through it a little bit.
We could try with mine.
Okay. Yeah, it might be cool. Okay. Do you happen to have the case number?
No, I haven't submitted one.
She's
Oh,
gonna
okay. Yeah.
submit from scratch, yeah.
Were we doing were we submitting one as an example?
So you wanna go straight to prod and try it, or she can go directly into dev, because they have the link for both. So she can use dev and submit something, and then you can go in there and take a look at it. So
And then here we are, here's our topic, and then you would open a case with SPP IT. And that will take you to the submission form. And I encourage you guys to try this just to see what it's like. If only a few of you do it, I can maybe even put something in there or give you guys a solution.
Okay, give me a few minutes. I'll put in a case.
But yeah, don't overthink it too much. You could even put like an SPP test case, something like that. Put my name in there and then submit. And I've made a case. So it's like, it's all that you have to do. Wouldn't recommend that because like an agent's not going to have a whole lot to go off, but just for the sake of playing around.
If I'm submitting a case myself, do I still need to put myself under UMD users or no?
No, because you're logged in. We already know, the system already knows who you are. This would only be for people who, like I said, like a supervisor or a coworker that has some interest in this problem. So if it's like a problem your whole team is having, you could add those people to get notified about the progress of this case. Man, this is taking a long time to submit. It's still crunching.
Okay, I think I just submitted it.
Okay, cool. Let's see. It's very slow today. All right. What do you happen to have?
She submitted it through the official one, not
Oh,
the
to Prod, she
development.
sent it to Prod,
Uh,
so,
okay.
which is good, because that's how everybody uses, that's live, we can always go in there and, close that ticket, so,
I dropped the case number in the chat.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I won't be able to get to because if you made it if you didn't make it where it like in dev with the little DEV or like in this system, I won't be able to get to it. It sounds like you made it in the
We
app.
see it on our end, Beatrice. We do see it.
So, we can, so Jim, you can share your screen,
Yeah, if
yeah,
you don't mind, Jim, I don't want to make you do extra work.
Yeah.
But if you want to share your screen and just
Sure.
all I was going to do really is maybe drop a comment and then then propose a solution. And I don't know how comfortable you guys are with that, but I can walk you through it just to see the whole process. And Beatrice, if you, I mean, you could even share your screen at some point if you're willing. Of course, no pressure. Like because you'll get an email. We could see things from your end to
yeah,
kind of go back
that's it
and
right
forth.
there, yeah. So she sends it as how it looks.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
cool.
can.
So yeah, so drop in a comment and then that'll show. So whatever Jim types in here will then you could then track in the case. You'll get an email, but you'll also see the comment.
So then we can also assign it to different people on our team as well for you. And then when we do figure it out, we can, like you said before, we can propose solutions for you as well. And just close the case out right out from our side.
Did you get an email, Beatrice?
Let me look. I
Okay.
do see it. I do see Jim's comment on the portal,
Mm-hmm.
but let me check my email.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
says,
may take a moment.
yeah, it says my case number opened, and then it says, thank you for submitting your case. Typical response times for cases are between 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Should I
Cool.
share my screen so people can see what it looks like if you submit a request?
Sure.
Yeah, I think well before you do that, I think Jim, do you know how to submit like a solution, propose a solution? Have you ever done
Sure.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could do that, and then I think once we do that, we can look at everything on your end, Beatrice. That would be awesome if you don't mind. Like once we so what we're doing now is like this is the part where the agent thinks they have a solution, or I mean, in some cases, you guys may come up with your own solutions. Either way, this is where the case is sort of resolved in some manner, and the agent can report how it's been closed. So whatever the situation is. Yeah, nice, very realistic.
Yep.
Man, you remember all this stuff pretty good. I guess you guys are actually doing
We've
this.
been working in it.
We've been working on
Yeah.
this, so we've been doing this for a
Yeah,
while
like
now.
when the 70 like hasn't been assigned, like we just abandoned the DB side of everything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Okay, so,
Okay, so now what's happened is on your side, Beatrice, we can see if you, like I said, if you're willing, we can actually probably see all this through your portal. Probably don't even have to look at your emails or anything. You might have to refresh it as well. Oh no, it looks pretty good. Okay.
it looks good.
There should be a way to accept, if you scroll up, there should be a way to accept the solution right from here. Like you shouldn't have to use your email for anything.
So here's where it says like the timeline of when I created my
Yeah.
ticket
Right.
and the issue and their response.
Mhm.
Maybe it's under actions. Okay, there we go. So here is where you can basically accept and the case is then closed. Or you could reject it and then now Jim has to figure something else out.
Okay. Even though we're showing the group as a practice, this is a real problem I have. So should
Yeah.
I hit accept or reject?
Go ahead and reject.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to
You're gonna
make
turn
sure.
So what's going to happen is you want to get a formal thing. It could be from Austin and Austin or Jim who's there. Usually we don't handle these phone issues, but we'll go forward probably like send this ticket over to DIT. And
I'd
then
probably say you
look
should
at
make a new one because
Yeah, so
DIT
that
is
would make a good one. That's what I'm saying. Eventually, that's
Yeah.
what Jim would do and send it and assign it to DIT, and then they'll look into it.
I think Ryan was saying for her to just scrap this and close it out and then restart an actual new ticket for that since.
Oh, we can do that too.
The
So
communication.
should I reject it or for the
I would
purpose?
I would accept it just to kind of put it away, just to kind of
And
archive
then you
it.
can create a new ticket. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way, because DIT is going to see like it's not some weird stuff we put in there just for
Yeah.
the just reading, and they'll be possibly little.
Because in my
put off.
email, this is what showed up. Like, oh, your case opened. And then
Yeah, and you also get an email where you can accept. It's a similar thing. All the stuff you can do in the portal, you can also do in your email. So you get an email that also is like accept, reject, same thing, same end things happen. So if you accept it in the email, the case moves on to resolved. Or
Yeah.
no, moves to closed is actually the state.
there were multiple emails, but I don't want to show my email. So this is just the
I hear
last
you, yeah.
one.
We don't,
that
you don't
they
need to. No.
Yeah, I would rather, especially since this is recorded, it's definitely better to not do that. So yeah, thank you for showing what you did. That's really helpful.
That's very good. So go ahead and send a new ticket in, and we'll follow up from there.
Okay, and my real ticket that will go to SPPIT or DIT?
Well, usually we'll go to SP. If you didn't know it at all, go always. That's what we're here for. If we can do it, we'll help you. We'll direct it to to DIT or whoever can help you. But for now that you can send it to DIT. As I said, it's up to you. If you send it to SPPIT, we'll see it. You saw it in the portal. We'll go there and then we'll assign it to DIT. They'll take a look at it. They will probably ask you for some information. Or you give it to them. They'll probably send someone else to do the connection. But I'm assuming right now that is something that we can look at because Austin or Jim will go up there and then they'll check to see, check your connections and check everything first. And if they can, then they will go to they'll probably go to that ticket and assign that issue to DIT. So we can do that in the portal. So I would say send it to us. That's a good way to start the process here. Just for all of you who may have doubts as who do I go to, what to do. That's what we have that portal for. So instead of us going back to you in email and tell you, we'll come and check. If we can, we'll go back to the portal and then we will assign that ticket to DIT. And then we'll briefly you see the updates and say, well, this has been assigned to DIT. Someone should come up. Now, who knows? Maybe it's something that we can fix right away. We can just look at the phone there. We have a few little troubleshooting things that we do when we have these kinds of issues before we go further. So just SPPIT, that's a good way to do it. In fact, it's a good process because, okay, this is a complicated process. That's the worst case scenario. We can solve it. What do we do? Instead of sending it directly. So that should tell you how our system works here. There are things that we can do. There are things that we can try to do. And if it doesn't work, we can, refer you to DIT. So I would say, go ahead, send it to SPPIT, and you probably Jim or Austin will probably on site right now. Most Austin will go up there and check for you, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think that's like the intended thing. Like you guys can
Yes.
probably get most of your help through your own,
Yes.
the people that you work with regularly. And then if it has to go to DIT, then they'll know what to do. But customers, like for you guys, you shouldn't really be bothered with that. Just send it to whoever you think, and in this case, it sounds like it's going to be, Jim and Samuel most of the time, and then they'll reach out. And just a note about that, I think, I don't know if we covered this in the agent side training, but you can create an incident from the case. And that, I think, instead of reassigning the case to DIT, you should just basically create an incident from the case. I can show you real quick. There's like a little button. So you would just know, here's like a case. If I wanted DIT to help me with this, you would just create an incident from the case.
Yeah.
I think this is sort of going forward the way that way it's still your case. You know, you're not just, you know, sending, because you probably do want to curate your customer experience. So then you can make the case that's like, you know, tucked in, the incident is tucked into this case. Just kind of a quick note about that. Any other questions about any of this from you guys that tried it? I don't know if anyone else made a case that they want us to look at it or anything along those lines. I know I said we wouldn't take up the whole hour, but I guess we are getting kind of close.
Sometimes, sometimes we have events where I need IT on site just to troubleshoot everything. Would we then put those requests through this portal, the My Requests? Or would we just email SPP Tech Support at umd.edu directly?
Either one will work. Either one. We just trying to show what this portal is. One good thing about the portal is you can track incidents like Ryan was talking about. Especially excuse me, if it's an ongoing issue, you don't have to sort through your mail to say, well, these are all the things that I sent Sam. You may have sent Sam other things that may not have been related to tech support, and you just have a lot of cluster, I would say. So all you need to do is just go into the portal and you can track things from there, you know, and see the progress as well. Instead of like waiting for email back and forth, but you can do it either way, like we said. So all you just need, yeah, it's up to you.
That email address, it goes to the same place.
Yes.
So it's either or, whichever is easier for you.
Yes. You know.
Yeah, so when you send an email to that email address, it's just going to make a case anyway. So it's, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, think of this as just an easy way to communicate. It's more like a chat, you know, that's kind of almost the way I think of it. Like for customers, it's just an easy way for customers sort of to chat with support and not have to send multiple emails. Just keeps it in one little nice thread or space. So yeah, think of it as a little more I know it looks really formal here, but I would think of it a little bit more casually. It's just a way to keep all your interactions about a particular topic in one space. And it allows everyone to report on it. I think that's a big thing with all this is like all these emails we send to each other, they're actually like a lot of support activity happening there. And I think the university at large wants to know and report on all these things because, I mean, a lot of work happens and is unreportable. And so this is just a way to kind of keep everything in a way that we can know how much work all of our agents are actually doing. But yeah, those are all good questions and comments. I don't know if there's anything else from anybody. It seems like the group is slowly dwindling as we approach
I know
this thing. So I mean, I don't like I said, I don't have anything really extra. I encourage you guys to go to the dev link. You know, just make sure it has a DEV. Let me show you where. So you know, as long as it has DEV in the URL, or you see the little, you know, the little dev icon, the little purple dev icon, you know, you can make as many cases and play around with things as you want. And I mean, I'm willing to help if you guys want to test some things out. You just want to throw a case around and try some things out. I'm happy to help you. I'm sure probably Jim and Samuel are as well. So like, I'm sure one of us, and then that offer, you know, so like, you know, Jim and Samuel, if you guys don't have time to do that kind of training stuff, let me know. I'm happy to kind of, you know, I'm happy to help train customers and play around with cases and stuff. So just let me know if you guys need any, you want to try some of these cases out a little bit more. I'll put my email.
Yeah, and we are trained, so it's not as Jim, myself, is Lexi and Austin as well. So we're team of 4. So anytime, anywhere, you can reach out to any of us and say, hey, I'm trying to put this thing in, or you don't even have to send an email. Just come down to the office and bring your laptop, and we can guide you through the process. So you have 4 of us at any time that can help you with this process if you want. So if you have any problems, just to let you know. So, but as I said, Jim is on site today, and Austin's on site as well. So you can reach down to them if you have any problems. As I said, Austin will probably come up there and check out that phone to see what the problem is and go from there. I mean, with your case, Beatrice.
Yeah, I guess I'm
Yeah.
hesitant to share this document with you guys. It's more for agent training, but there is some valuable stuff for customers. There's information about notifications. So like what happens if I just ignore a case for like 5 days, or what happens, there are some things that customers have to do to get a case to resolve. So feel free to skim through that if you find anything. Like at the bottom, there's additional information that could be potentially useful. But like I said, this is mostly for agents, but it talks about what notifications you can expect, stuff like that. So
Good.
it's a bit of a novel though. But other than that, I think it sounds like we can wrap up, and I'm here if anyone needs me. It sounds like you guys have a lot of support on your side of the house, so that's awesome. You guys have a pretty good group supporting you all.
Thanks for that, Ryan. Really appreciate it. So as I said, if you have any further questions, you can reach out to us. And the interface, I think one thing I want to make there, you saw those articles that when you brought up other sites, eventually as we solve more problems, we're going to put articles there, and you'll be able to solve things yourself. Probably when you go there, you will see the articles relating to that solution. You might not even send that to us, but that would come. But it's just a start, to have this robust incident reporting system. And we will really appreciate if you, actively take part. You can always email SPP Tech Support, or you can also go into the portal to track things. Make it easy, it takes less pressure of scanning down your email, that you have to go to find the appropriate thing that you want. But we really appreciate it. And there's a note here, we will send out the recording as well. So you can go through the recording if you have any doubts and any problems. And hopefully that will help you. And as I said, you can reach out to us as well. Okay, if there's no other questions, thanks a lot. We really appreciate your coming to this training.
Cool. And whenever the time comes,
All right.
yeah, thank you guys. Whenever whenever you're ready to do article stuff, if you want to talk about that,
Yes,
talk about that together too.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
All right.